Hey guys, welcome back. We have another story, another trading card perp who is getting in some serious trouble with the law. We gotta like to see it. It's been too long with too many people getting away with this crap. We're going to continue on this channel to track this stuff down, to provide any and all information possible for the law enforcement and people that need to take legal action against these people that are ripping people off. It's far too often laughed at, etc. But there's a lot of money involved, and maybe that's why some of this stuff has taken some time before serious action has been placed on the individuals that are scammeroniing it. I mean, there's been criminal investigations in the past, but we're seeing a whole lot more pop up in terms of where it's in the like hundreds of thousands of dollar range, or even less than that. Any amount of money that's significant. In this case, it looks like $33,360. But I'd like to thank Auburn35 on Blowout Forums in general. It's a great bunch of people that not necessarily everyone on there, but there's a lot of people on there that are very proactive at taking information on the people that are taking advantage of others. This is one of those examples. This is more on the tail end of things where somebody's caught, but it's a good idea. If you're collecting sports cards, this is probably the place you want to be. Lots of information on there as well about altered cards. There's a ton of altered cards. Some of them are still graded. Some of them, the certs are still very active on them. So you got to be aware of that stuff. You want to do a search on here if you're buying anything big in the sports world. Make sure you know who you're buying from, because you will absolutely get finessed on a lot of those high ticket items. There's a lot of stuff that gets the old clipperoo with sports cards being square. A lot of cleaning, a lot of altering in general in the sports card world. We're starting to see a little bit more of that in Pokemon. Hopefully we can try to put an end to it. Try to eliminate the I guess the upside of doing that. With what is the downside, such as this, shipping people nothing in exchange for promises of cards. Again, guys, when you're purchasing anything, make sure you do it in a way that is with a payment method that is able to be retrieved. No friends and family for Joe Schmo, guy on the other side of the country who you've never met. All right, let's get into the art. We'll go through both the articles here. See if we can make this a little bigger with the magic of editing. Wink. Definitely editing. Definitely not me just changing things on the fly. All right. What do we have here? U.S. Attorney Trini E. Ross announced today that Kyle Bertrand, 34, of Greece, New York, was arrested and charged by criminal complaint with wire and mail fraud. So we've seen this time and time again, the wire fraud, taking payments, and the mail fraud being either not sending something or sending something that's fraudulent. Nice to see both of those coming into play here. The charges carry a maximum penalty of 20 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. So can you imagine anything even remotely close to that for the sake of selling people fake cards, whether you're selling them cards that you just never ship, etc.? This is the kind of trouble you can get yourself into. For what reason? That much jail time and potentially that much of a fine. For the sake of $33,000. Yes, $33,000 is quite a bit of money before he got caught, I guess, or got punished for it. But it's wild to me that somebody's going to you're risking your life. Like that is life ruining stuff. Even if you get half that, if you get 10 years in prison, like what the hell are you thinking? Like it doesn't make any sense. Assistant U.S. Attorney Kyle P. Rossi, who is handling the case, stated that Bertrand is currently serving a term of supervised release following 2017 federal fraud and identity theft convictions. So this is another example. Just like the Arjun Dillon stuff, it's just like these like repeat offenders. Like you would think they would have learned after the first time, after you get caught on for federal fraud, that you would cut it out, right? You would behave yourself, but apparently not. See, like, I don't like to believe that like once a criminal, always a criminal, but it's definitely once a criminal, more likely to be a criminal again, from what I'm seeing here, especially with the trading card stuff. Maybe it's like they commit crimes that are maybe taken a little bit more seriously than trading cards, and they think like, oh, it's just trading cards, right? I can do that. Between October 2021 and February 2022, a perfect prime time supermarket boom, Bertrand advertised on various social media and online forums that he had collectible sports cards for sale. And he also attempted to purchase sports cards that were being sold by other individuals. However, according to the complaint, Bertrand advertised sports cards for sale that he either never possessed or never intended to deliver. For instance, Bertrand advertised sports cards that were collectible in nature and valued highly. His ads appeared legitimate and contained appropriate information and images. When contacted by an interested buyer, Bertrand negotiated a sale price and then directed the buyer to send payment by wire through a mobile payment service. After receiving the payment, he would send the buyer a confirmation that the cards had been shipped, but instead of receiving cards, buyers received empty boxes or cards of negligible value. In other instances, Bertrand stole collectible cards by contacting sellers, negotiating a purchase price, and making payment via credit card through a credit card processing service. Sellers would then mail the cards to Bertrand, who would then dispute his credit card payment through the credit card company, revoking the payment issued to the seller. So we have a double whammy here. We have him not only ripping people off on the buying, but also the selling end. This is like greedy, dumb, criminal shit if I've ever seen it. Like, how do you not think this is going to catch up to you? Bertrand defrauded a total of 6 victims in Florida, Ohio, Missouri, and Pennsylvania out of approximately $33,360. So it's kind of like crazy to me if this guy was going max scammeroni that he only managed to scam $33,000 before he got shut down. That blows my mind. The complaint is the result of an investigation by the Federal Bureau of Investigation under the direction of Acting Special Agent in Charge Michael Stansbury. The fact that a defendant has been charged with a crime is merely an accusation, and the defendant is presumed innocent until and unless proven guilty. Remember that, guys. He definitely is innocent until proven guilty. Oh my goodness. How ridiculous is that? So let's read through this other article here. Probably more of the same. Upstate trading card fraudster duped buyers and sellers of $33,000, prosecutors say. Rochester, NY. A Rochester area man is charged with defrauding trading card buyers and sellers of more than $33,000, federal prosecutors said Thursday. From October 21st to February 2022, Kyle Bertrand, 34, faked payments and shipped empty boxes to people he met online, convincing them he was interested in buying or selling valuable football, basketball, and baseball cards worth thousands of dollars, according to a news release by the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Western District of New York. So I don't know if this was actually one of his posts. It'd be nice to see some of his listings. If anyone out there has any photos of that, do let me know. I'd be interested in taking a look at them. But I mean, some of the images probably weren't even his images, so it's hard to say. That's the thing too. Even if he owned the cards, clearly he wasn't sending them. So I guess it didn't really matter. But I would assume that somebody that's desperate enough to do something like this probably doesn't have a whole lot in value, unless the cards that he was receiving, he was also selling them but not shipping them. Bertrand of Greece, NY, not Greece, Athens, is accused of running the scheme during a soaring resale market for collectible cards from sports teams and popular franchises like Pokemon. Yeah, well, I didn't see any of the Pokemon stuff, but it wouldn't surprise me if that was also being peddled as well. Is it peddled? Maybe not. Peddled is probably not the word for it. He's swindling with them. We'll just leave it at that. There's probably a better word there. It is not currently in my vocabulary today. In November 2021, Bertrand negotiated to buy cards for $20,000 with a seller from Florida. FBI agents said in an affidavit filed in federal court. After sending the money through an online banking app, the seller sent the cards to Bertrand at a Rochester address, federal agents said. but the payment was quickly taken back after Bertrand disputed the payment with his credit card company, according to the court papers. In another sale, Bertrand, this time as the seller, sent a man in Missouri an empty box after Bertrand agreed to send him sports cards for $600. Federal agents said. In other cases, Bertrand sent buyers cards that were worth little to nothing after agreeing to send cards that were valued much higher, according to court documents. So this is a little bit weird. You can't even necessarily blame the shipping company at that point if you're filling it with garbage. Not garbage, but like if you're filling it with cards that are not the cards that you actually agreed to sell. In total, Bertrand defrauded $33,360 from buyers and sellers in Florida, Ohio, Missouri, and Pennsylvania. Prosecutors said Bertrand was charged with wire and mail fraud. Prosecutors said he faces a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison. I mean, I hope this stuff all gets cracked down on very hard, because it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. None of it should have to happen. It's sad that there are people out there that think that they need to take advantage of others in order to get ahead. You don't. You absolutely don't. And this is an example of why you shouldn't. Even if you, for some reason, your moral compass is so far stuck up your ass that you want to take advantage of people like this, here's a great example of why you shouldn't. You're going to jail. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Hopefully this was another little beam of light coming through all the scams that we're taking a look at, that we have taken a look at, that we're ongoing investigating, and everything else. Join the Discord. As always, take care of each other out there. Love you guys. Bye.